Hey guys, Sean here at Unpaid with Sean Salisbury. There's times you get to interview a lot of people, and I know this sounds hyperbolic because he's on it, and I'm being serious about this. There's guys you want to interview that you've watched, and he's plenty younger than me, but that you admire from afar. And I'm finally getting my first chance to interview our guest today. And college game day was better with him. Now, he's never a bitter guy. He's always been honorable, and watching him from a distance teaches me a lesson on how to handle stuff. And I'm so grateful to bring him in, three-time All-American at Georgia, first-round draft pick, family man. He has his family pod, family. I want to make sure I get this right. The family pod. David will come on and say it, but I know he's on C-Ball, Get Ball, on Believe as well. And just one of the best in the business at what he does. And we have him here today on Unpaved. David, welcome in, man. I'm being honest. It's such an honor to have you here doing this. And it's I want to make sure I get it right, the family pod name. It's Family Goals Pod, I think, correct?
Family Goals, yes, sir.
And C-Ball, Get Ball, which is what offensive players do not want to ever hear. The C-Ball miss runner or pass catcher or leave quarterback alone.
David, hey, Sean, we were debating that name, and one of my buddies was like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, don't make this hard. Like, C-Ball, Get Ball. He was like, it's your personality. It's perfect. Like, just go. Like, ball move, you go. Like, it's very simple. So we didn't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, when I saw the name of the show, I said, I'm picturing him on college game on TV saying, Steve, really simple. They're breaking down telestrator. It's like, really just C-Ball, go Get Ball, man. It's a great name, and it does fit you. And it's great to have you on today. And so there's so much to cover because of just everything you're about, and it is an honor. So thank you for being a part of this day and making this show better today. Do you get, does the hair on the back of your neck stand up at this time of year still? You know, when you were a player and when you were doing, what's that feeling when August hits for you?
Well, I'm a high school football coach too. So, we play our first game tomorrow night.
Well, hell, if I did your whole resume, we don't have time for the damn show.
Don't worry about that, Sean. It's that time of year, man. You know, when you get to camp, I tell my kids all the time, I don't miss beating the crap out of each other in camp. But as you start to inch closer now, man, it's coming, and the stadiums are going to be packed, and the smells and the sounds. You also know that your life is over too as a college kid. Right. You're like, all right, it's time to lock in. I got school basically in ball for the next, 6-7 months. So, yeah, it still does, man. It's the greatest. And I know there's been a lot of changes in college sports, and it turns some people off. But the competitiveness of the sport, the ability for multiple – there's 12 teams in the SEC that I think are in the mix. That is – unbelievably awesome to start a season with that many people and that many teams. The parity is here. It's real. The undefeated seasons to me are out the window. Those are gone. It's just so different. It's so new, but it's still the same old traditions, the same old hatred, and the same old fun.
You mentioned being a high school coach. Do you get nervous? Kind of when you played? It's more out of you because you don't get to actually touch the football or C-Ball, Get Ball. But are you still nervous? Is it the same feeling as when you played?
It's not the same feeling, no. Because I felt like I was in more control when I was a player. And now, man, you don't know if somebody had something bad for breakfast and what's going to happen and what's going to show up. But to me, it's just cool because I get 100 kids in these 4 classes that I get to motivate, inspire, help them to be the best version of themselves. And so what's different is, Sean, now you're the guy, pushing the strings and trying to motivate and trying to teach. And okay, they're not getting this. I got to say it a different way. And how do I relate? How do I make sure that they're doing the right things off the field? And, it's so cool. My kids come in all the time and they're like, Coach, because I do the voiceovers for EA Sports, and they're like, Coach, you were hating on me all last night about my offensive line. I was like, well, how many sacks did you give up? I was like, we gave up 7 sacks. Well, I was like, well, they sucked. What do you want me to say? Your line wasn't very good. So I think just, you still get that win-loss feeling. I can't imagine not having football in my life. It just – at all the stages, and listen, right now with media, my wife, and she's got brain cancer, and we're fighting that battle, and travel's not an option. That's not on the table. But I still get to do this. Like, I still get to talk about the game with people like you, who I grew up watching, by the way, like on television, and just and have fun doing it. So there's just nothing like the sport, man. The ultimate team sport.
I'm 100% with you. Before we move on to football, and this is so important to me, how is Lindsay doing?
She's doing great. She's doing great. I mean, we don't have a cure for cancer yet, but like, she's had a couple surgeries, and just man, Sean, I didn't know how strong she was. Like, I really didn't know how big of a boss she was. Her faith is bigger than her fear, and she's taking every day. And she is kind of cool because my son turned 17 yesterday. My daughter just turned 15, and like, I get to live with a real life superhero. Like, people always talk to me and talk about like, he can do this, he can do that. I'm like, just look at your mother. Like, that's how you handle hard things. That's how you do it well. So she's been a great example, and she's fighting with both hands. She ain't scared.
David Pollack joins us. David, I get emotional thinking about this, and the way you've handled it. I know her. You're talking about just your family and you. I can't fathom it. Hell, losing my two parents was one thing, but you're talking about somebody who's got a ton of life to live, and with your children, your son and your daughter. The strength and the way you have handled this with such class and dignity. And obviously your wife, Lindsay, doing the same thing. You mind if I ask, when you got the news, the first thing that came to your mind, as a guy, I don't ever see you in a down mood. I never saw it on College Game Day. We'll get to your career. Never. How do you keep it straight? How do you find the strength, man? What was your first thought?
Well, I remember when my mom got diagnosed about 10 years ago. No. Shoot. God daggone. I'm getting old. It was like 17 years ago when my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And I just remember going like, I got to be strong for her. And my wife told me, she was like, listen, everybody's been crying. Like, everybody's been crying. And I just remember being like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, we're going to fight. Like, my wife literally, and I try not to get emotional too, but my wife literally looked at me and she goes, God gave me this because he knew I could handle it. And I'm like, whew, okay. And she was like, I know a bunch of my friends, like, this would cripple them. Like, this would be a huge backbreaker for them, and it would just be really difficult. She was like, I know I can do this. So like, it was just easy. And that's the great thing about sports too, is like, you're used to hard, like you're used to difficult. And that's the great thing about serving such a big God, man. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, the one thing I've learned quickly in my life is, like, bad times are coming. And if you're not in a storm, get ready, because the weather's coming. You better go ahead and get the poncho on, because it's going to be coming at some point in your life. And so it hit us, and it's just, it's who we are. It's what we are. I mean, she had surgery, and I don't know if everybody saw the video or not, but like, I don't post things about my family. I'm just a very personal person. But like, I've never got to look into my wife's soul or somebody else's soul. And she can't open her eyes. She can't speak. She can't use her left side of her body for another couple of days. But I posted a video of her right after surgery where we're playing one of her favorite songs, The Goodness of God. And she's got both hands in the air. She's praising. And I'm just like, that's a live look at the soul. So like, I think it was like, you were kind of shocked, but we also, we knew that we did the biopsy for a reason. And I would say it took longer to get back. It ended up taking like 8 weeks to get back. And so we were just like, hey, next step, like, we're going to be just fine. Like, God is in control. We're not in control here on this earth. And we're going to continue to trust. We're going to continue to believe. And it's been a rewarding journey so far that we've learned a shoot ton about.
I mean, your example, not just for me, but is nation and worldwide, people rallying around it. How can people find, I know you're with the Pollack Family Foundation. Is there a place they can go and contribute or see everything that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't updated, many people on it. Like, honestly, you're one of the first people to really ask. Like, people will ask how she's doing, and I'm just saying, she's doing good, but not getting really specific. But like, if you go to our site, like davidpollack.com, that's where the Pollack Family Foundation is. And here's the cool part: my baby doll runs all of that. Like. Right. And here's cool too, for football, she feeds the team several days a week. She's basically the team mom, the GM, whatever you want to call her. Like, she makes everything happen. So listen, Sean, you learn a lot about yourself. Like,
you ain't lying.
I didn't know how to do laundry. Okay. I'm embarrassed to say that at 40 years old. Like, you should know how to do laundry. But like, I was literally going to her and I'm like, babe, what do I put the setting on? Just like point, point to the settings.
So she's the brains, the tough, everything about it. Right. Teaching you
everything. Yeah,
Never
so
too late to learn, my man.
we've had. Hey, I got it now, man. Like I take things off. I tell my friends this, and they're like, "Welcome to being an adult." I was like, I take things off. I go right to the washing machine. Like I put it in. Like I'm ready to rock and roll. So we're all learning to pick up some of the slack that's been there.
It's such great news. You know, I was thinking about the adversity you're talking about. We'll get to ESPN, but you're with what's going on with Lindsay and your family and overcoming that, and you're still working and don't travel and the dedication there. And I get to your career because Dave, watching you in college, and that's at the time I'm doing television and stuff and talking about this amazing player at the University of Georgia and a 3-time All-American and first-round draft pick. And man, Cincinnati, whoa, this is going to change it defensively. And I knew your love of football. And we didn't really appreciate your love of football until after it was over, we're getting to be in our living rooms every day. Tell me that feeling, because knowing how much you love football, and this is going to be an odd question, because is it easier to walk away from football when you're forced to? Not you get my point, right? You know, like when people ask me about retirement, I say, most guys, you got to drag us off the field, right? You just say, you can't go. And sometimes the decision when it's made for you, while it's never easy, may be more difficult, because sometimes at 50, at my age, I still think I can go out there and spin it. I just don't want to get hit by anybody, by the see ball, get ball, right? Yeah. But I'm just curious for you, as such a bright future in the league, what was that feeling like? You talk about overcoming adversity, my brother. You are a poster child for doing it the right way. What was that like? And
unfortunately, that started the grizzled veteran that I am now for dealing with stuff. But like, from when I was 6 years old, I told anybody who would listen, like, I'm planning to play in the NFL. And I got so many of those little pats on the head, like, oh, that's cute. So does everybody else. And like, one of my favorite Nick Saban's quote is, don't give up what you want for what you want right now. And I can just tell you this, like, I have zero regrets when it comes to what I gave up, because like, I'm not drinking. I'm not smoking in college. I'm doing everything I can. Like, I'll never forget, I was 15 years old in 9th grade, and I watched Brandy Chastain rip off her shirt, and do the goal. And that has nothing to do with anything but the story. Don't get excited, anybody. But like, I literally watched, and during that broadcast, Sean, they talked about how the girls stopped drinking carbonation because it affects their conditioning. Right. That's the last time I touched a carbonated beverage.
Are you still to this day?
Still to this day. I'm like, bro.
So you're celebrating a penalty kick, and so that's when you quit drinking carbonation.
Correct, because I'm like, if I want to get here, like, this isn't helping that. And so trying to figure that out. And so I meet my goal. I get to the NFL, and then, one play, and you get hit. And listen, it wasn't easy. Like, I'll never forget in the ambulance after – they told me I broke my neck underneath the stadium in the MRI, and they said, you broke your neck, and I was like, okay, what does that mean? Then me and Lindsay get in the hospital, and I was like, man, we started crying, because we're like, this is crazy. This might be it. And so I think there's some fulfillment there knowing you got there. But man, there's a lot of shame when you turn and you look at the Bengals and all the players and Marvin Lewis, and you're just like, I wish I could have helped. Right. I wish I could have been a part of this. And my first year I started and we went to the playoffs and won the division. It was so much fun. You could tell like it was just trending in the right direction. But I think, what I slowly started to realize and what God showed me is like, listen, like I had been a believer and I had a lot of good times, but I didn't really get still. And I didn't really I didn't talk to God. I had a good relationship with God, like when I wanted to. Right. And so when I had to be still, and you're talking about, 6 months, in 4 months in a halo and a neck brace and then surgery and another time period. Like it forced me to get still, and it forced me to think, and it grew in my relationship with God and my friends. Man, you talk about who's in your life for the right reasons. Like you quickly find out when that's gone. Like right. Money's gone, fame's gone, all that stuff that goes with it. So man, it just like I'm a better dad because of that. Like I'm a better spouse because of that. So that adversity in my early 20s, like a dream being gone, it's like, okay, that really stinks. And I hate that. But like, what's next? And here's the thing. I'm way less concerned as we get older, all of us out there. Like I'm way less concerned about what happens to you, Sean, what happens to me. I'm more concerned about my response.
Right.
Like, what does the response look like? Like, you can't control the outside factors and those things that happen. And so I was like, what's next? Now, listen, I never thought it would have been television. Not in a million years did I think it would be television in College Game Day. But God just had different plans, and I was fully understanding that, and I knew it wasn't my decision.
And I can tell you this, you made us watching you perform on College Game Day and talking football and the personality and the energy. It's the best pregame show on the planet. I love College Game Day. You set your clock. I mean, when I wake up on Saturday morning, I'm like, man, Lee Corso and David Pollack and Kirk Herbstreit, it was in Desmond Howard, phenomenal. So let me ask you, do you still watch it?
Yes,
Those
sir.
are your guys and your friends. Do you, and how did that come down, David? Because I know those guys are on there, all buddies that I know as well, and I love them. But when that came down, I think a lot of us were shocked. And Pat does a great job. He's got great energy too.
Oh yeah.
But from my vantage point, it was a different, the way you brought football wise for a guy who lived it at all levels and been through more adversity than anybody'd been through sitting on that set. What was that feeling like? Because I thought you were going to be that next guy.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping to be. Like you're working for that, that platform and to get more opportunities. It was definitely out of the blue, and I'll never forget. Like it was, it was 2 years ago now, or three years ago. I don't even know. And I'll never forget.
I think this will be year 3. I think.
Okay, year 3. And I got a call, and it was from one of our executive producers, Lee Fitting. I was like, that's weird. It's July. I don't talk to him very often, and he had actually been in a different role at that time than even our producer. And then he started talking. I was like, oh no. I was like, I know what time this is. And, it was a shock, but like, it was another thing. It was another example of like, just, you don't know what's coming. Right. And I didn't know brain cancer was coming, Sean. Like, I didn't know that was going to be a thing. And that was going to be something that I was going to need to be there for. And man, the things that I have seen, one of my best friends in the world, almost 2 years ago now, like his wife had an aneurysm at 40 years. She had just turned 40 years old, and she was gone like that. And I would have been at College Game Day in Seattle. I'd have been in Washington. And like the fact that I had the honor to be there and to love on that dude and spend literally months at his house. And so like, there's just no accidents. And so I listen, I knew it stunk and it was weird. And it was like, what the heck do I do next? And when I told my kids, that my daughter was like, oh no, what are we going to do? And I was like, we will be just fine. Like God will provide. Like, but this is just, this is something that happens in life. Like you're going to be told at some point, we don't want you anymore. And so it was a shock. It was strange, but the things that it's opened up, and high school football coaching has been amazing. I coach girls basketball, varsity basketball at North Oconee. Love every second of it. My son's a junior. My daughter's a sophomore this year. So, more time with them, more time at home, more time to grow as a family. I always justified too being on the road. I was like, it's only during college football season. Right. And then you look up and you're like, well, that's 18 weeks. That's 20 weeks. That's a lot. Like that's almost half the year. And so just, I think it puts in, it got my creative juices going. And I bet you can relate to this, Sean. Like
big time.
I was almost like this. I was like, okay, I was on the cycle of life. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then a quick left turn, and it's like, wait a minute, no. What do you want to do? Right. And now everything I do, man, like it has a purpose. Like I'm speaking to companies and corporations and churches and FCAs.
It's like, intentional, right, Dave? It's intentional.
Yes. Like, and I think you lose some of that when you just get going. And I encourage all of us, man, like you're on that bike, you're on that hamster wheel and you're going like, but what are the things that bring you joy? What are the things you love to do? And now I'm like, okay, if I don't love to do it, I'm not going to do it. Like right. I'm going to do things that serve a higher purpose, a higher calling, and bring joy and bring fun and still compete and still, be a big part of whatever it is, but it just looks different than it used to.
David Pollack, he's a family man. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a faith based, as you can hear, which is a great example for all of us. He's a 3-time All-American. He's a first-round draft pick. He's a huge difference maker and a football expert, and we got him here today, and it's great to have him on, sharing his time with us. And you can catch him on the Family Goals Pod with family. It's faith, family, and sports, as well as his I don't know how long you've been doing it, but see ball, get ball with Believe. But I can tell you this, and going there, I like it already, the way what I've seen. But I've been a fan of yours for a long time in your football stuff. So let's get to some other stuff. When I say the name Lee Corso, Lee's going to do, I know you're probably as excited as I am, bummed but excited for him because I love him. Legend. When I say that name to you, What do you think?
Humility. That's the first thing that comes to mind with Lee. It was a lesson in humility every week on the road with him. Just the way he treated people was second to none. And, just so many lessons that he would so many things that will stick in my brain. It's just like, I remember, like, I really wanted to prove myself, right? Like, you're out there and you're like, these guys have been doing it. Like, I'm going to watch more tape than anybody. Like, I'm going to be dialed in and I'm going to have this figured out. And I'll never forget Coach Corso would just sit there with his number 2 pencil and he'd be like, it's entertainment, sweetheart. Like, he would just tell me over and over, man, like, it's great. Like, hey, football guy, like, you got all that stuff figured out, but don't forget the most important part. Have fun. Like, that was one of the coolest things. Another thing that I really appreciated about Lee, because when you come into business, you're like, who do I like? Who do I not like? Why do I not like them? Why do I like them? I love that Lee didn't hold back. Like, there's a lot of guys that don't tell the truth because they're worried about ramifications of how a coach will feel. I don't have a lot of relationships with coaches, Sean. I never did. I wasn't worried about having relationships with coaches. That wasn't my job. Like, picking against Georgia. I remember watching Lou Holtz when I was growing up and coming into the business. South Carolina he's picking South Carolina. Arkansas, he's picking Arkansas. Notre Dame, he's picking Notre Dame. He coached at those places. And I remember, I'm like, every time he talked about him, I tuned him out because I knew who he was picking. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that. Like, but Corso, he would say whatever came to his mind. And I thought it was fantastic, but just like, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget every Friday walking over to the snack table with that leather briefcase and just scoops it all in and just like, but just the way he treated people, man, it was very different. It was with so much humility and so much appreciation. And then the one-liners and dropping the F-bomb at Houston.
Oh,
like,
it was classic. Oh, yeah.
Just so classic.
Yeah, all time. And we'll get to see him, obviously, I hope it's not for the final time, maybe some stuff, but as a regular college game day guy, Lee Corso, the Ohio State game as they host the University of Texas, we're about 15 or 17 days away, which I can't believe, which is awesome. David Pollack joins us for a handful more minutes. All right, David, let's get to some great expertise. This has been phenomenal. I might keep you for 4 hours if I'm not getting carried away, but I know you got other stuff. Learn a lot from you. John Mateer going through this situation with Oklahoma, transfer to Washington State, very familiar because, Coach Arbuckle, he knows the system. So the football part seems like it's going to take care of itself. But just your general thoughts on the old G word and gambling and Venmo. What were your thoughts when you heard this, and what does it do as collateral damage? I don't know what the result's going to be of it, but as a football guy and what a coach has to now answer, and Mateer, what does that do for Oklahoma Sooners and John Mateer at this stage?
Well, I have a 17-year-old son, so I am not shocked by this at all because, like, I remember Nicholas coming home from school last year, and he was like, and so he's 16. He was like, hey, all my buddies have DraftKings. Like, can I get DraftKings? Like, they're gambling on this app. And I was like, how old are you, buddy? He was like, right. I'm 16. I was like, it's illegal to gamble. I was like, so you can't. He's like, well, all my buddies have. I was like, I don't give a crap. So right. I think what we find out is it's so easy to do, and it's so easy to have access to it. And some of these kids start at a young age doing it and don't think it's a big deal. This makes me think, Sean, of the Josh Allen thing, like a couple years ago, right before the draft, right? Like leaked out at that time on purpose. Like everything you do is being monitored. Everything you do is being watched. And so at Washington State, it's not as big of a deal, right? Like, but once you come into the spotlight now at Oklahoma, it becomes a bigger deal. I don't think anything's going to come about it. But I think it's a lesson for everybody. We've seen him in football with Calvin Ridley. We've seen him with other folks too in basketball recently. And you got to be smart with the gambling. Like you got to be smart with betting on sports when you're in that profession. It's so easy to have access to it. It's so easy to click. And I think he'll be fine. And he's a freaking baller, Sean. I don't know how much you've seen of him.
I have a bunch of him.
This dude's so much fun to watch, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, got a little Baker Mayfield to him, a little sidearm, a better athlete, scrambling,
he's got big guts too, right there. He'll take shots now.
He'll take shots.
Really good leadership.
Change the throwing angles, and I think you're right. Having Arbuckle, his OC, come over from Washington State. That's why Oklahoma has high hopes because they got a real fighting chance. They've had great defenses. They've just tried to get that offensive side of the football going.
You're the commissioner or running the NC2A. Well, the NC2A may not be the powerful governing body it used to be. For those who say college football is broke or fractured and needs fixed, fix it. How are you fixing it? what are your first three messages or your first three bodies of work?
Well, the one thing that we got to realize of how we got here is like when you have transfers and player movement, that's a really hard thing. Like when you're starting to be able to move all over the place, it's very, very tough. But here's the thing. You want to throw gas on the fire, bring NIL into the mix and movement with players. So you got payment and movement. Now it's like a wild, wild west of everybody going everywhere. Listen, there's no place in the world where contracts aren't on both sides. Like when you worked at ESPN, I worked at ESPN. I couldn't just be like, hey, peace out, bro. No ramifications. I'm going to Fox. Right. It doesn't work that way. Like it doesn't work that way in life. So I think having contracts that are both sides, that are multiple years. Listen, I love the transfer portal because despite what everybody thinks, Sean, coaches get this crap wrong all the time.
Right.
Coaches get a thought process. Oh, this is what this guy can and can't do. And sometimes they're wrong. Right. I know it's a heck of an idea. I know it's weird, but they're wrong. And it happens. So like guys being able to think they signed up for one thing to go another spot, I'm good with it. But like, let's limit the movement a little bit. Let's have binding contracts because so many people are leaving the game because of that. Like college coaches are bolting to the NFL at an alarming rate. So I think if you handle that right there, you'd start to build some framework. And listen, this is why the government's getting involved now.
Right.
Because you're running an organization across a multitude of states, like all these different states who have different rules. Like it's not like that's not, we have to come and everybody has to have the same framework and operate under the same rules so we know what we're all doing. The NCAA is a joke. Back to John Mateer, by the way. Here's what John Mateer has to do. NCAA comes in, hey, we want to ask you about your Venmo for gambling. Yeah, I'm not interested in talking about it.
What are they going to do?
We saw you did this. Yeah, I don't care. Like they have no subpoena power. They have no power really anything. You know what they do? They throw the party at the end of the season and they hand out the trophy. Do a pretty good job of that. Besides that, at some point we're going to break away from the NCAA and it's going to be AFC, NFC, Big Ten, SEC because they have all the power. They got all the money. Like that's just the way it works. So, that's the things, that's the framework we could set in place is mutually benefiting contracts. Kids are still getting paid. That's fine. I would love a salary cap.
I was just going to ask you, would you salary cap the NIL and would you put, you know how we have the buyout for coaches, David?
Yep.
Where, you want to leave early. Well, okay, then it's going to cost you $10 million to go to another school.
Yep.
Would you put a price tag on the player as well? That the guy that, okay, this is going to be your third transfer, but on their second or third, whatever one we decide, that if you want to come get the guy, it costs you $1.5 million or $3 million to take him, and that's fine. And hell, we're at the point where you may be able to cut, like the NFL. Well, week 7, I'm cutting you. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that, but would you salary cap the NIL and would you put a value on each player?
Yes, 100%. Like I think you salary cap it. Now, here's one thing that I would institute immediately. I want a rookie salary cap because I want kids going to college and making the decision that's best for them, not what's best for your
senior to his freshman year.
Yes. Like you're in high school, you're making a decision not that's solely based on money. Because if you're making a business decision solely based on money, you figured that out in life, Sean, and so have I. It's the wrong decision most of the time.
Amen.
Like, so if we can put a rookie salary cap in place. Now, listen, I want fluidity. I want people to make their own decisions. So you get $16 million. Well, if you want to spend $11 million on your quarterback, have at it. That's your fault. Like that's your job. But otherwise, you only have so much money to spend. That way it's not going crazy. Like
well, it also equals it out too that the guy who can't spend as much money brings it closer together, so you don't get to get all the guys in the transfer portal.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, it makes it. I think it makes it even. It still gives other non-power players, not those big dog schools, if they want to spend more money on a quarterback, they can do it. It's the most important position. If you hit that, you stay healthy, you got a chance to compete, with the big time. So listen, there's so many things that we could tweak, but I think here's what people don't understand. This is the best fan bases in the world, college football fans. But it's not going to happen overnight. But you can erode that fabric. It can be lost a little bit at a time because now I ain't buying jerseys. Like, why am I going to go buy Nico's jersey?
Right.
Because now I got to buy his UCLA jersey. He gone. Like, so I think that it's a great fan base. It's a great sport. We got to be careful that we keep the integrity of it while still compensating the players because they deserve it. Because here's the thing. If they're an artist, if they're a painter and they're really good at it and they're 17 years old and they're at the University of Georgia, they're getting paid for their work. Like if you're a rapper, you're at that, like you're doing the same thing. Like you're allowed to capitalize on that. But like to me, name, image, and likeness is what I've done in college, not paying people to go to school. I would try to erode some of that away.
You're the athletic director or the head coach. I'm whatever if I'm the head coach, you're the athletic director, vice versa. And I come to you and I say, or I'm the president of the school. You're the president. I'm the athletic director. You come to me and I say, we're building a program and we can pluck any college head coach we want. Current, not a guy on college game day. Fair enough. And we're building a program. Who we starting that program with in college football? Current coaches now.
It's Kirby. I mean, it's got to be Kirby. Like it's just, and it's not
closest thing to Nick we got.
Yeah, he really is, man. Like it's impossible not to sit down with that dude and be like, I'm in. Like go listen.
He reminds me. I don't mean to interrupt, Dave. Personality, like the energy, and I mean I know you're a Georgia guy, and this isn't Homer. This is just. I think a lot of people would echo what you're saying. But he reminds me of you and the energy that, listen, you don't want to be here. Don't be here. You want to be, when we show up, we're going to do it this way. You want to transfer, then that means there's that feeling of whether it's a Georgia in the water thing or it's just that you guys are cut from the same cloth. There's an energy that Kirby has that I'm attracted to. Does that make sense?
100%. And I don't know, you can't replicate it.
Right.
And you can't, like guys can't, just like guys couldn't be Nick. Guys can't be Kirby. But like, Sean, when you go to a special teams meeting, Kirby's sitting in the front row.
Right.
And he's literally, coach asks a question, hand raised. Like, he's intimately involved with offense, defense, special teams. Like, he is so into it and so juiced up, you can't not do it. You have to raise yourself to his standards. Like, you have to understand, like, he's got the mic on for practice, and he's taking shots at everybody. Like, nobody's out of the realm. And just, like, the accountability he creates, it's just cool, man. It's fun to watch a guy that, like, he can bring it every single day. And I remember it wasn't that long ago. He was like, hey, man, I'm taking a day off. Like, you know, I'm going to go. About 12 o'clock came, Sean, and he was like, man, blank this bull stuff. I'm a football coach. Like, that's how he's that's how he's like he's over here playing pickup basketball during COVID because he didn't have a lot of things to do and we didn't. He's coaching my friends who are 30-something-year-old. He's like, get your butt up here on the screen. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's who he is all the time, man. It's a special energy. It's a special juice. The level of accountability is elite. Like, nothing's slipping through the cracks. Everything has been thought out. Practices have been discussed beforehand. When you walk on practice, we ain't explaining nothing on the field. That's what meetings were for. Like, you spend your time in meetings making sure that you go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. You will not see a whole 2-hour practice. You won't see 2 minutes wasted, Sean. Like, it is that efficient going from here to here. And I think the physicalness and the play hard, like that's the kind of stuff that's it's just unique. And now listen, I love Dabo Sweeney, and he's very different. But Dabo comes Kirby's more of the old school dictator. Will cross the line and sometimes be more dick than tater, right? Like he's kind of got that in him sometimes. Like Dabo is like, I lead with love. Like that's who he is. That's what he is. And he's built an amazing program. Like amazing. It's different. It's not as intense, but it's more intentional on their faith and what they're going to be and who they're going to develop into, which is still special and awesome and unique. Like those are two different sides of the coins, but both I respect, as much as anybody in this profession on how they do it.
Tell me that. Are you still there? Yeah. Yes, okay. Because it froze for a second. I got it. Yeah. You finished up with Dabo. All right. So with that, David Pollack, obviously for a few more minutes, David, what Big Ten, SEC, I don't think it's arguable. We look at them as the top conferences in college football, right? I think we're still there. All right. This year, 2025, top to bottom, who's the best? And I know that you're an SEC guy, but take that out of it. Who's the deeper conference this year?
The deeper conference is not debatable. It's not even close to debatable. I think there's 12 teams in the SEC that literally are going to be in contention for that league. And that's absolutely
Amazing.
nuts that's nuts to think about. Like, you got Texas, you got Alabama, you got Georgia, but the next level you got A&M, you got Ole Miss, you got LSU, you got Oklahoma and Florida and Auburn and South Carolina. Like, they all have pieces that you're going, dang, they could be really, really good. So, and then guess what, Sean? The most entertaining player in all of college football to watch is Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt. Like, that dude
phenomenal.
is so much fun. So, like, any given day in that league, you're in for it, man. Like, you are absolutely in for it. You can get beat up. It's a tough league. You're not going undefeated. You're going to take your bumps and your bruises. The toughest atmospheres in all of college football to play. So that's the best league. But here's the thing. The Big Ten has absolutely done this and closed the gaps. When you go to draft picks, like, the Big Ten's now starting to creep up with first-round picks, with first 3-round picks. The Big Ten now, the last 2 natties have come out of the Big Ten. Like, Ohio State and Michigan.
That ain't sitting well with your conference, David. You and I both know that.
But it's the facts, right? Like, those are 2 big-time, universities and 2 big-time programs. Like, the reason the SEC, to me, is better and it's harder to live in is because you can't play your C game and beat most teams. Like, Big Ten, Ohio State can play their C game and still win the majority of the games. Like, you got Penn State, you got Ohio State, you got Oregon, you got Michigan, and now you start getting to USC, Indiana, Illinois, like, good teams. You start going to the bottom of those leagues in the middle bottom. There's not as much friction.
I love the depth of the SEC quarterbacks too.
So good.
The Sellers, and I think Sellers is a monster. I do. Nussmeier, I'm just talking about as a playmaker, right? So you talk about the depth. You mentioned they are loaded, which it's a driving force. It's become from youth football all the way up quarterback league, but you better be physical in the process as well. But the depth of the quarterback position makes it a tough out, man.
It's silly. Like, and again, we talked about Pavia. Taylon Green at Arkansas, he'll be a top 2-round pick. Like, 6'6", can fly, can throw the football. Like, that's at Arkansas, who's not great or elite by any stretch. But yeah, like, Ole Miss, you lose a first-round pick. Now Simmons is going to come in a lefty that can spin it, and you're going to be like, what the crap is that? Like, Nussmeier obviously still there. Yeah, Lenora Sellers is a daggum problem. Like, that dude is just an animal. Like, just big, strong, Cam Newton type animal. But what if Auburn gets good quarterback play? Like, they got the best 1-2 punch in the country at wide receiver.
Agreed.
Like, Oklahoma obviously has Mateer. DJ Lagway, like, what did you see from that sucker a year ago? He put everybody on notice. Nussmeier. I mean, just the list goes on and on, man, of just so many guys that are really good. A lot of them not experienced, like Arch. But you've already seen enough of it to go, man, these guys are going to be really, really special.
How does you mentioned Arch? I'm glad, because that was my next question. We know he's going to be prepared from Sark and the family name alone, how those Mannings prepare. How does he live up to this, David? He could be good and not good enough for some. How does he live up to this?
Well, he probably doesn't care. If he's a Manning and he's been brought up the way they raise their kids, I imagine he doesn't really care. Sean, what's the most important part about being a quarterback? Is it the coordinator? Like, that's pretty high on the list, isn't it? Like,
agree. 100. That relationship and being on the same page on all of it, no doubt.
I got one of the best play callers in all of college football. I got one of the best defenses in all of college football. Listen, this can't be about my numbers. This can't be about me getting mine. This has to be about winning. And it's okay if it's not on you in the beginning. It's okay if you go to Columbus and you win 21-17. Like, I think for him to be successful, it's like, let's get the numbers out of this crap. Like, let's not worry about the Heisman Trophy. Week in, week out, play in, play out. Like, let that other crap take care of itself. I know everybody wants to talk about me. Don't listen to it would be good advice too. Just don't read the press clippings. You're never as good as they say you are, and you're never as bad. And they're going to try to tear you down every chance they get after they built you up, right? Like, that's just the process in which it works. But I think he'll be fine. I think Texas, the offensive line is the biggest question mark, because for those 5 guys being gone, highly drafted kids up there too that you saw, like that, can they run the football? But I know with Wingo, I know with Sark and just those guys, they're going to be really, really good, and Texas is going to be a national championship contender.
Now, all the pomp and circumstance before, but the Heisman talk, we all do that on all shows about who do we like. Well, we got to see him perform, and there's a lot of names on it. If your career was banking on it, and you had to pick one, who you riding with this year?
I mean, the easy answer if my career is on this is Jeremiah Smith, because that's a superhuman freakazoid.
Right.
Like, that's not has there ever been a better freshman to come in and go, like the mock drafts, they say he'd have been a top 10 pick.
Right.
Like,
already.
as a true freshman wide receiver, like you've seen Bo, you've seen Adrian Peterson, you've seen Herschel, like you've seen some of those guys. But like at that position, to be 6'4", to hit 24 miles an hour on the GPS, to be able to run 4.4, like that's just not, he's not human. He's not of this planet. So Jeremiah Smith absolutely is going to be there. The good thing about him is he's got a new quarterback, new running backs, new supporting cast, and it's going to be like, okay, where's 4? Okay, he's open, throw him the football, and he's going to make plays. So if you ask me like who I'm most confident in that's going to put up numbers and ball, Jeremiah Smith.
Do you hate the politics that on TV broadcasting? You know, we
Can't
get
stand
down
it.
where we do you
Can't
like
stand
it,
it.
or does it drive you crazy?
Drives me nuts. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear. If I want to hear political stuff, then I turn the political stuff on. Like
Right.
But most of the time, man, I love turning my brain off and watching sports and learning about sports. Now, I'm not a fan of all that.
What would you do if you weren't involved in football?
Oof. I think speaking.
Do you have a certain sneaky chef? Do you have a certain sneaky hobby or passion we don't know about?
No, I can't.
That's right. Well, you can't do laundry, but you can now. So
Let me tell you something.
What would you do? You can't broadcast and you can't play football. What is it?
Can I coach football?
No, you can't be involved in your sport.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think that would be because I've had some coaching opportunities at college, and then I've had some different opportunities over the past like year and a half. But the one thing I know I want to do is I want to speak. Like I love going to different companies, corporations, churches. I love sharing my faith. Like I love helping people maximize what they have inside of themselves and trying to like not just like, because that's one thing that frustrated me growing up in church a little bit. Like when I was in college, I was like, man, this is such good stuff. How do I apply it? Like,
Right.
So I'm very interested in the mechanisms. Like, okay, now we've got this information. Now, how do we take it and apply it? And like that's what we do at Family Goals with my pastor. Is like, okay, you got this information. Here's step 1. Here's step 2. So I think teaching people, you know, like how to live the best version of themselves, how to face adversity, and using some of my stories and stuff. I really thoroughly enjoy doing that and sharing my faith.
When your wife beats us and is 100% healthy, and I call you up and say, man, Southern Cal needs a defensive coordinator, or are you taking it?
My kiddos. So I got offered a really good job last year.
That's no surprise, brother. No surprise at all.
At a really good program. And what I said to them, I said, right job, wrong time. You know, and so I think the timing element is really important. Like my kiddos, my daughter's, like I said, a sophomore. My son's a junior. Like the number one thing that won't happen is I'm not coaching until they're done. Like
Right.
I'm their dad and I'm their coach, quote unquote, second, third, fourth down the list. So not right now, but the future, man, I'm excited about whatever that looks like and whatever that's going to be. I got offered a job to coach a high school team, be a head coach of a high school team around me. And man, I was close because it's an area that doesn't have a lot of resources. It's an area that doesn't have a lot of father figures around. And I'm like, man, how awesome would that be to go in there and like show them what a man looks like every day? Like
Right.
Bring in some other believers, man, come in this group and just love on them, like, and go support them, give them resources, like to really be successful. Cause I think they could just take it over the top. And that's one thing God keeps putting on my heart is like, hey man, what are you gonna do for the least of these? It's easy to coach these kids that have, like, what about the ones that don't have as much? So one thing I've learned, Sean, never say never. And because I'm learning that throughout my life, but just kind of taking it day by day and figuring it out. But like, you're right though, football, man, how do we not, like after all these years, man, how do we not have some part of that in our
I'm
lives?
100% with you. All right, who's my final 4, my man? Give me that draw. I wish we had a telestrator and film we could sit for 2 hours and draw it up. And who am I when I'm watching the final 4? Who am I seeing, and who's going to win it?
Okay, so I battled this like crazy, but there's 3 teams that I feel very confident about that I pick between winning the whole thing. I think Penn State's very much in that argument, and I think people are going to do the same thing they did with Notre Dame last year. Well, they haven't done it. Well, second year Andy Koltanecki on the offensive side of the football. That was the best they've ever looked on offense. You bring back your quarterback. You bring back most of your offensive line. You bring back your two studs at running back. Your defense has not been a problem. Oh, by the way, you just took Ohio State's coordinator, Jim Knowles, who's one of the best in the business. So best coordinator punch in the country at Penn State. OC, DC, best one in the country. James Franklin, it's on you. That's on you. But I think this is the year they get it done. I am super high on Clemson. I'm all in, man.
I love Cade Klubnik. I do.
Dude, he's good, and I'm high on him as well, but that's not the reason I'm high on Clemson, bro. They've got everything they had, Sean, when they won the Natties. When they won the Natties.
Trevor was there. Defensive front seven, nasty, right?
Two defensive linemen they'll be taken in the first round. A corner they'll be taken in the first round. Bro, when you go to their practice and you look at their wide receivers, you're like, who's that freak? Who's that freak? Who's that freak? They took one and moved him to running back who's 6'4", 250. I'm like, what the heck are we doing? So Clemson, the roster looks, and here's the biggest deal with Clemson. Tom Allen comes in as DC. Big time difference. I didn't think they lacked players a year ago. I thought they lacked something else. And I think Tom Allen, with his personality, is a perfect culture fit for Dabo. So they're in there. Texas is in there. Texas, to me, again, best. If you're going through their defense, you go, who's the best defensive lineman in college football? You're not getting far down the list without mentioning Colin Simmons. Who's the best linebacker? Anthony Hill Jr. You're literally going to start naming Texas players at every level. They are going to be dominant. They're going to be really, really good. They're very much going to be in that mix. So that's three of my four that I feel super confident about will be there in the end. And I got Clemson winning the whole thing, man. I got a return to glory for Dabo and company. Just the right mix of popping in the portal, getting a little bit of something to supplement because you've been losing players year after year in that thing. Now you're allowed to get the right fits and the right culture. But Sammy Brown at linebacker is an absolute superstar stud. KB in the back end. I mean, they got players all over the field. And it just feels like a Clemson type of year.
Well, man, I know you got a commitment here in a few minutes. I could do this forever. Promise me I'll get you again. Is that if I can do that?
Bro, you text me, I'm in. Absolutely.
This has been I'm getting comments, and I've already getting a bunch of texts. You're phenomenal. You really are. And I learned something. And not only that, you are a difference maker, not only as a football analyst, but as a family man and as a husband and a father. You really are. And I appreciate you. I have for a long time. I've never got to share that with you in person like this, but I'll be damned, brother. You made me a better person today just with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So thank you.
Well, it's not me, but thank you very much. And appreciate you having me on, man. Just shoot me a text and I'm in.
I will. And good luck. Our best to your good wife, Lindsay, and your family. And go get those kids ready to play. I have a hunch we haven't seen you the last time on the sidelines, brother. Just a hunch. And continued success as you make a difference. And we get a chance to listen to your pods again. See ball, get ball. What a shock. That's the name. That's David Pollack. My man, great to be with you, brother. And we'll look forward to doing it again.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. That's the great David Pollack. I have looked forward to this for a long time. I'm talking about when he was on College Game, and they do a great job, and David knows that. But I honestly think that he needs that. He's great at a monster platform, and dare I say, underrated when it came to that, because all the powerful names. I think David Pollack, maybe he's not. Maybe he's properly rated, meaning when I rate him, there ain't nothing underrated about him. I think he's spectacular. So thanks. Made the show better today. Before we go, let's talk about Spindle Tap real quick, and then I'm going to come out and close the show. Spindle Tap, they are the very best when it comes to spindletap.com for your beer, your mocktails, great facility, whether you're in Houston or not. We'll deliver it right to your door. Right to your door. You see the signs in the background, the Rancho, which is the 5, and it's Delta 9 THC. Stay away from those drugs and pills and all that. This Delta 9 THC at least gives you a chance to rely. You got that shoulder, you can sleep well at night. Obviously, everything in moderation, but they got Mexican beer. They've got your IPA, the double IPA, the tall boys, everything about Spindle Tap. I'm so grateful that I've been partnered with them and that they're part of this show. And not only are they bringing great drinks, but the customer service. If you're in Houston, you got to get over to the Spindle Tap Brewery, whether you like pickleball, the new beer hall that's already added on to what was already a great place. and the people leading it tell me, you just heard a great interview from David Pollack. Great leaders know how to make things happen. And if you want great drink, great facility, and delivered right to your door, whether it's beer, the light beer, the Mexican beer, the double IPA, the IPA, and an array of them, go to spindletap.com and check it out, number one. Number two is get on there and deliver it right to your door. And don't discount those phenomenal mocktails that no sugar, no THC, just the Delta 9. When I talk about cannabis, should I say, it's just Delta 9 THC. And if you're having trouble, you don't need those drugs. And for some of you don't need anything. But if you like it, taste good too. That always matters. That is Spindletap. Spindletap.com, 713-325-1477. Spindletap.com. Triple E, thanks. Man, that was awesome, wasn't it? David Pollack. There are certain people you want to get to, and his energy, when he says he wants to be a speaker, hire him. He will come into your building and tell, because he's got his priorities right. And the world needs more, especially the football world and the Christ world and the difference-making world need more David Pollacks. It's hard to live up to that because he is really, really good, not only at football, but he's good at life. So special thanks to David Pollack. Coming up tomorrow, Todd Marinovich. New book out. Story's phenomenal. USC guy. I remember meeting Todd Marinovich when I was at SC, and he was in the 9th grade. The future planned out. Disruption. Talk about a guy who's been through it. Todd Marinovich tomorrow. It is going to be phenomenal. Next week, depending on the day of the schedule, I just got a message from my guy Chipper Jones talking playoff baseball. And I imagine Chipper's got some, I know for a fact he's got a lot of football fan in him. And he probably watched old David Pollack dominate himself, being a guy that spent a lot of time as a Hall of Famer in Georgia. Chipper Jones will join us in the coming week, as well as Ed Werder and plenty more. We're going to get unbelievable insight. It doesn't get any better than you heard today from David Pollack. Honest, with integrity and dignity, and obviously what a phenomenal family. We need more of the great David Pollack. So thank you guys. I cannot wait to continue this. I told you coming down the pike, I kind of teased you and saved it. Coming down the pike this fall, this show is going to elevate, and I think it's going to end up being the best podcast in the country because of you guys. But it's unfiltered opinion and great insight. And then the guests, come on, man. You're not getting that. You're not getting that at some local radio show. You're just not. The insight from the great David Pollack. Look forward to more. So thank you. I love having you guys. You guys deserve to hear from a guy like David Pollack. I just sit back and take it all in. One of the great football minds we have out there. Looks like he still could have some eligibility if that neck was good. It looked like that guy's still in shape, ready to play, but he's still making a difference as big as it gets. Love it. And I can't wait. And again, Chipper Jones coming down the pike here soon, and Todd Marinovich. It'll be really, really intriguing to listen to him as well. Look forward to it. This is Unpaved. This is Rumble. Thanks again to the phenomenal David Pollack. What a difference maker. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. For Triple E and Laura, grateful to have you guys. We'll see you guys later.